crowd of 20,000, perhaps a few more, has gathered in St. Louis for this game, and here's the way the two teams will line up. For the Braves, Deion James in center field tonight, bats first. Ken Oberkfell will play and bat second. Gerald Perry, the first baseman, hits third, and Dale Murphy will bat cleanup and play right field. Ken Griffey in left field hits fifth. Andres Thomas, the shortstop, will bat sixth. Ozzie Virgil will catch. He'll hit seventh. Glenn Hubbard at second base will hit eighth. And Doyle Alexander makes his first start of the year. A year ago, he was 6-6 with the Braves, a 3.86 earned run average. For St. Louis, Vince Coleman leads it off. He'll play left. Ozzie Smith at shortstop bats second. Terry Pendleton, the third baseman, hits third, and Jack Clark plays first and bats cleanup. Willie McGee is the center fielder, hitting fifth. Tommy Herr at second base bats sixth. Kurt Ford, the right fielder, will hit seventh. Tony Pena will catch. He'll hit eighth, and Bob Forsch is the pitcher. Forsch 4-1 for the year, a 4.66 earned run average. He beat the Braves a week ago, 7-2 down in Atlanta. He is 1-0 this year, 13-11 lifetime against the Atlanta team. Your umpires, Jerry Crawford, will call the balls and strikes. Bob Davidson working at first base. Harry Wendelstedt at second. And Terry Tata will call the plays at third. Pena's throw to second and around the horn. Deion James ready to lead it off. Leading off the play-by-play story, here's Ernie Johnson.
All right, Chip, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Deion James 1 for 6 last night. Willie Stargell coaching first, Russ Nixon at third. As you can see, the Cardinals lining up behind Bob Forsch, who beat the Braves in his last outing. In Atlanta, he went 7 innings, allowed 10 hits and just a couple of runs. Final score 7-2. The pitch swung on and bounced slowly toward Herr, who throws him out. James came in at 304, 3 homers and 17 RBIs, is out number 1. Forsch, of course, has a lot of know-how. He's 37 years old. His entire career with the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Ken Oberkfell. Forsch still throws hard enough, so you have to respect his fastball, but he has a lot of breaking balls and usually doesn't walk many people. And usually chews big wad of tobacco. 1 ball, no strike. Opie last night had a base hit, a triple. He's at 320 for the year.
You see the note about the Yankees in the paper this morning? There must be a kleptomaniac on the loose over there.
Yes, Piniella had over $1,000 lifted from his wallet.
Several. There's been 4 different incidents.
Yeah, even going back to spring training. Right out of the clubhouse. 2 balls, 1 strike. I can say this on the clubhouse. I believe his was stolen from the manager's office, but they have regular lock boxes for every player, and you put all your valuables in there, so it seemed pretty hard to get at that. We're wondering where Piniella might have just had his in his office. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tell you one thing, a lot of the players, they don't mind losing a few bucks, but if they've got a World Series ring in that lockbox, now you're getting serious. 3-2. That's toward left center. I don't know if McGee can catch up. Yes, he can. Willie McGee. Boy, there's no substitute for speed, and they've got it out here in St. Louis with Coleman, McGee, and Ford.
Pretty close to a collision here, too. Coleman just did get out of the way.
Now Gerald Perry had a good night last night. 2 for 3, a couple of RBIs, a double. Gradually getting that batting average up, and his RBI production is at 20 now. You can go up there and know that you're going to get a pitch to swing at from Bob Forsch. His brother Ken, a very successful pitcher for many years in the major leagues, too. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just another beautiful night in St. Louis. Not a cloud in the sky. We'll be with you at 1:30 on Thursday. Tomorrow's an off day. 1:30 Eastern. One ball, 2 strikes. There you get a glimpse of the crowd and this beautiful stadium. As Skip mentioned, probably 20,000 plus. Yesterday, 34,000 paid and about 40,000 in the house, as they had 5,000 to 6,000 straight A students. 2-2 delivery. Is low. He's run it full. 3-2. The Braves lead the National League in runs scored. They picked up 14 last night. That's a base hit to left. That's a good job of hitting by Gerald Perry. It appeared the ball was outside, and he just hit it to left field, just like you're supposed to. Didn't try to pull it. Now Murphy.
We should hastily point out at this late hour that the Valley boy, Glenn Diamond, is our producer, Rick Rayford, our director, working hand in glove down in the truck.
And our birthday gal is Laurie Burns, working on graphics, her 20-plus birthday. Runner going. He's going to be in there, and the Braves continue to run. Perry's 8th stolen base.
He got a terrific jump here. He could have gone in standing up almost.
One ball, no strikes. That's looped towards center field. Might fall and does. Base hit, a run in. Murphy with a soft single. Makes it 1-0. Murphy with a 6-game hitting streak now and his 27th RBI. That ball was away from him, and he did a good job of hitting.
Tried to get ahead of him with a fastball. He got it right off the end of the bat. A good thing he didn't hit it solidly, or it would have been caught by McGee.
I believe the Braves, for the first time this year, have more stolen bases, 25, than been caught stealing. They're at 24. And a lot of that has to do with Perry and Albert Hall. Albert Hall has stolen 8, been caught 3 times. Perry with his 8. Fly ball left, but it's going to be handled by Coleman going back almost to the edge of the track. And Griffey, who last night had a big pinch hit double and 2 RBIs, makes out number 3. But Atlanta puts one on the board. The Cardinals are coming to bat. There you see how the Braves line up behind Doyle Alexander. He's 6'3", 200. He's 36 years old, be 37 in September. He's a Texan. He has over 15 years in the major leagues. Last year with 2 clubs, Toronto and the Braves, he won 11 and he lost 10. Making his first start of the year. Coleman will lead it off. Chuck Tanner would be very happy if he could get 6 innings out of Doyle Alexander, I would think, in his first start, 6 or 7. Because he has pitched that length in the extended spring training session. Coleman 1 for 4 last night with a stolen base. He has 29 of them. The Cardinals will end up with over 200 stolen bases again. Strike call. As you watch Alexander, watch a pitcher who does not have a blistering fastball, but has a lot of various speeds, and he changes speeds on about every pitch. Curve, slider, and a straight change. The 0-1. inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's a pitcher that's really in the game, too. You'll see him change his defense around. He has definite ideas about where he wants everybody to play, and an extensive book on every hitter.
The 1-1. There's a changeup. 1-2. And he pitches his own game. He can get the sign from the catcher, but if he doesn't like it, he'll quickly shake it off. The 1-2 pitch. Bounced up. 2-2. Virgil trying to get that ball, runs right over or into Jerry Crawford. Ozzie Smith on deck. Skip Carey and Ernie Johnson with you from St. Louis. 2-2 pitch. Hit foul off to the left. Home and a switch hitter at 274. They have 5 switch hitters in the lineup.
Don't forget the Cubbies come in for the weekend. 7:40 Friday and Saturday, 2:10 Sunday.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Has a little Scroogey outside. Well, Alexander has run it full on the first batter, and the 3-2. Call strike 3. Fastball caught him.
I'm really surprised he took this pitch. I knew he was going to get a fastball. That is a strike.
Ozzie Smith 1 for 5 in last night's game. He's only committed 2 errors all year. Smith will play the whole year and maybe have 8 to 10 errors at shortstop, the busiest spot out there. Another switch hitter with Pendleton, another switch hitter on deck. 1-0. Low. 2 balls and no strike. Strike call. Trying to think what scout it was. It might have been Bertie Tebbetts. One of the other scouts is there in Chicago. They were being interviewed about the lively ball. There's a lively hit to left along the line. Griffey up quickly, and let's see. No play. Let's go a little bit off. And a double for Ozzie Smith.
From him, going away, and he hit the daylights out of him. Griffey made a good play here and a strong throw, but not an accurate one. He had to spin completely around. His throw was off the mark, and that got Smith into second base.
Pendleton with a 19-game hitting streak went 1 for 4 last night. Smith at second base. Foul away. Anyway, the scout was being interviewed about the lively ball, like many people, including scouts, say it's livelier this year. And he said he is not explaining his reasons anymore other than just saying 2 words, Luis Aguayo. Because Aguayo has been hitting homers. Yesterday, Luis Aguayo hit 2 for the Phillies. There's a bounce at his short. Nice play, Thomas. I think now has 8 homers for the year. He had 4 all of last season. Jack Clark. Jack Clark was the player of the week. Added 474, 2 homers and 12 RBI. Player of the week in the American League was Jim Clancy, pitcher for Toronto, 2-0, and he had 2-hit shutout. And many managers think that Clancy might be the best pitcher in the American League. 1-0 Atlanta. Alexander's pitch is outside. That had a big snap to it. 1 ball, no strikes. Braves scored their run on a single by Perry, a stolen base, and a single by Murphy. He looks like an old gunslinger, doesn't he? Put a cowboy hat on Doyle Alexander and a quarter horse, and he'll ride into the sunset. There's a let-up, and he comes sidearm once in a while with a let-up.
Did you say put a quarter horse on Doyle Alexander?
Put him on top of a quarter
There
horse.
you go.
Okay.
I mean, I know we're a little upset that he held out, but we don't want to.
A cowboy hat, and put him on a quarter horse.
Under the hat and on the horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're about even after that Indianapolis 400.
Yeah, and last night's military deferred list.
Yeah, we're about even. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball, touched off, deep right field. Murphy to the wall. Out of here. Jack Clark, opposite field homer. Big, strong guy, Jack Clark, is his 30. 2-1, St. Louis.
Let's take a look at his swing here. He was off stride on that ball, hit it all with his arms, and still got enough of it to get it over the wall. About 380 feet from home plate.
Willie McGee.
Number 51, center fielder Willie McGee.
McGee had 1 hit last night. It was a big one, a double that knocked in 3 runs. Curve low inside. McGee with 10 RBIs over his last 7 games. His high was 1985 when he had 82 RBIs. The 2-0 pitch. Driven deep right field, no doubt about it. That might get in the upper deck. It hit off the club level. He just missed hitting the ball into the upper deck in right field.
Well, I'm afraid you picked an appropriate time to talk about the ball being juiced up. Holy smoke.
Watch it again.
It was a curveball that hung about belt high, and he hits it off the blue facade, just missing the upper deck.
We're going to play golf tomorrow. I'm just going down to the clubhouse to ask Bill Akery for a couple of baseballs. That ball just missed the club level. We've been coming here a long time. That's the longest home run we've seen. Take a look where it hits right there on the blue. A couple of more feet. It's in the seats upstairs. Very similar to a ball being hit in the upper deck in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. 3-1. This is Tommy Herr. And there's a liner to first for out number 3. The Cardinals pick up 3. We go to the second inning. 3-1 St. Louis.
Telecast authorized under broadcast rights granted by the Atlanta Braves, intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves or the Turner Broadcasting System is prohibited.
On Andres Thomas will lead it off. Alexander was activated today, and Ed Olwine was sent back to Richmond. Thomas, 2 for 5 last night. He'll be followed by Virgil, then Glenn Hubbard. Bob Force with a 3-1 lead now. And there's a base hit to right. Thomas with his 3rd hit in the series. Ozzie Virgil, who last night batted once and hit his 15th home run of the year. That equaled his total of 1986. Hubbard on deck. I don't know. This has the earmarks right now being a high-scoring affair. There have been 6 hits already. We're only in the 2nd inning. There have been 2 homers hit. High fly right side along the line. Long run for Ford. And he made the grab. What a catch. Kurt Ford came from deep in right field for that catch. Virgil played around the other way, and Ford made a great catch.
Especially tough because he runs into foul territory and gets hung up on the pitching mound a little bit. Look how far he came. And from another angle. This still is only going to count as 1 out.
Dave Ricketts ready to catch him. He's their bullpen catcher.
Former Atlanta Cracker.
Well, a very athletic family. Hubbard, who had 3 hits last night, takes a fastball inside. Herb Davis is here in his family from Lexington, Tennessee, and Dale Gregory from Lafayette, Tennessee.
And Dick and Hillary Williams from Havana, Illinois.
Runner going. The throw. Safe on a belly flopper. Thomas in with a steal.
He stole this off Force. He didn't expect him to be going. You saw Andrus took 1 glance to make sure the ball hadn't been hit and just got in there in time.
So Hubbard with a chance to make it a 3-2 game. 1 out. Hubbard with 19 RBI. Off to one of his best starts. Two balls and a strike. The IBM tail of the tape had McGee's home run about 437. From here, it looked like it was 537.
Seriously, I think that's very low.
Yeah.
Because that ball was still on the rise when it hit the facade.
3-1. Caught the outside corner. Good pitch. Alexander's on deck. The Cardinals play Hubbard straight away. He's hit a lot of balls to right field this year. And he can pull you. That ball is to right. A long run. It'll be in for a base hit. Thomas to third. They'll hold him there. And Hubbard got a pop fly double for his 4th hit in the series. Ford came over, then backed off. He didn't want it to bounce over his head, and Hubbard's got a double.
Very unusual play in that a runner at second is still at third when a batter hits a double. But Thomas had to hold up, fearful that the ball would be caught. And Hubbard almost ran right up his back.
I think Thomas thought the ball might be caught, so he had thoughts of tagging, and got to third. Here's Alexander with the infield. Well, let's see. They're backing up a bit now. Clark is fairly close, as is Pendleton, but the shortstop, second baseman back. One out. Alexander swings the bat pretty good for a pitcher. Curve strike. James is on deck. Braves had 17 hits last night, have 4 already tonight, but only 1 run, with a chance to pick up more here. The 0-1 pitch. Oh, that was close. He wanted that fastball. Nixon kind of faking signs. Alexander, of course, with a 1-1 count, has got a green light unless they put on a squeeze or something. Outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He hasn't offered yet. Here's a 1-2 from Forsh. A bouncer up the middle will score a run. Alexander's thrown out, but the Braves have cut into the lead. Thomas scores. It's 3-2. Hubbard's now at third. Dion James. James, a pretty good bunter when he drags up toward first. Takes a curve low. I'm sure he's looked at that area. On a drag bunt, they just try to get it by the pitcher and aim for the second baseman, and he can't throw you out if he's back. A little bit high. 2 balls and no strike. These two teams even for the season, 2-2. Down low. Oberkfeld's on deck. And the 3-0 pitch is a strike. James 0 for 1. He grounded to second first time up. Three and 2. Tomorrow's pitchers: Rick Mailer against Tim Conroy. Make that Thursday. Tomorrow's off. Thursday, Rick Mailer, Tim Conroy. Bounce foul up by Willie. And over the weekend, we got the Chicago Cubs. And on Friday, May 29th, it's Heinz T-shirt night. Saturday, May 30th, Dairy Queen helmet night. And Sunday, May 31st, Canon team picture poster day. We hope to see you at the ballpark. Here's a pitch. He got him with a curveball. James is out of berth, but the Braves score 1. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-2, St. Louis. We're going to the bottom of the second. Kurt Ford will lead it off. He didn't play last night. Steve Garvey's on a 21-day disabled list for the San Diego Padres. He has a torn biceps tendon in the left shoulder area. And there's a chance that if he has surgery, and he wants to, is that he'll be lost for the year.
Number 27.
Steve Garvey. But he wants to play in 1988. Is it safely in 9 of his last 10 games. He's a speedy little guy at 338. A ball outside. to congratulate the University of Georgia. They're going to go to the College World Series. And speaking of the College World Series, one of the players there deserves congratulations too. Robin Ventura of Oklahoma State. He's hit safely in 56 consecutive college games. Bouncer to first. Perry will handle it. One down. Joe DiMaggio holds the major league record of 56 consecutive games hit safely in. But I don't know if everybody knows that Joe DiMaggio also, while in the minor leagues, hit safely in 61 straight games. But Robin Ventura says those are two different levels and doesn't want to really compare himself to any streaks like that. He says, I'm college and they're professional. But what a year he's had. Here's Tony Pena. Breaking ball outside. You just tuned us in. It's 3-2 St. Louis. Two-run home run, the first by Clark, and then a mammoth home run that almost went into the upper deck by Willie McGee for their third run. Outside corner fastball. Pena's been on the disabled list a long time. He was hit by Brian Fisher, broke a thumb, so he was lost for quite a while. But Lake filled in pretty well. There's a foul away. One ball, two strikes. Porsche is on deck. Smith with a changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rich Hacker is their first base coach. Nick Leyva coaches at third. And the 2-2 is bounced foul up by Nick Leyva. Red Shindade's still one of the coaches for Whitey Herzog. He's been in baseball for a long time. Used to manage this club. In fact, they won a pennant on the Red. I think they won a World Series too. There he is. Red Shindade's. What a great player. He was the second sacker on the 1957 Milwaukee Braves.
He used to bang him off that screen at the old ballpark here.
2-2. Swung on, missed, and Virgil will throw him out. Strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. Now Bob Forsch. Batting .429 this year. He signed as a third baseman, so he's been a good hitting pitcher. In fact, he has 11 career homers. One ball, no strikes. He's won 147 games in the major leagues. To third, Obi fights it and throws him out. In contrast to the first, a very easy inning in the second for Alexander. We move to the third. 3-2 Cardinals. We're going to the third inning. Oberkfell will lead it off. He's a former Cardinal. He'll be followed by Gerald Perry, then Dale Murphy. Forsch was a little late getting out there. Bill Morton wants to say hi to Adele and Frank Cost at West Melbourne, Florida. We want to say hi to Terry and Franny McSweeney, always watching in California, and the Bob Raddies in Vermont. Appreciate all the mail that we received concerning Braves baseball. Ken Oberkfell. They close.
appreciate
One ball, no strike.
all the mail except the guy that keeps writing this and saying we should say the score is 0-2 or something like that.
Well hit toward right center field. That's going to be in for extra bases. Watch it bounce into the seats and take a triple away from Oberkfell. Ball bounces off the artificial turf high out there, and Obi has to be satisfied with a double. I believe it's a triple if it hits the wall.
Forsch is really getting cuffed around here. Threw him a fastball, and he went out and got it and ripped it into right center.
Now Perry with a single and a stolen base in the first inning. I try to pull this ball, get Obi over to third. He's a tying run. They're going to start their bullpen. Down low. One ball, no strikes. Murphy's on deck. He knocked in a run in the first. Bill Dolly will start throwing.
Hello, Dolly.
About 6'4" and over 200 pounds. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Watch it. Nice play, Pena. Curveball in the dirt. 2-0.
This guy's a fine catcher, and he has to be on this particular play. Knocked it out in front to keep the runner where he was.
Some of these veteran pitchers, you're going to get them. You got to get them early, and the Braves trying to do that to Forsch. They get away in those first 3 or 4 innings and settle down, you have problems. 3-0. You could see the difference in that graphic, how much Gerald Perry has improved from April to May in his hitting. And there's a bouncing ball through and a right field hit. Obi at third. They're going to wave him, and the Braves have tied it. Ford came up as if to throw, then held on to it. And Gerald Perry continues doing very well. Another base hit, an RBI, and it's 3-3.
He's a much more relaxed hitter in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Just intent on getting it to the right side, and he got it through. I'm really surprised Ford didn't turn a play on Oberkfell, but he never did cut it loose.
Murphy with Perry at first. 3-3. Ball inside, 1-0.
Say what, boy, this club scores a bunch of runs.
As I mentioned, they took the lead in the National League last night with their 14 runs. They have scored more runs than anybody else. Team batting average is second. It's to the Cardinals. The Cardinals are batting .283, and they've scored 234 runs. The Braves are batting .274. They're second, and they have scored 239 runs. Pitch. Perry is going. Pitch is low. The throw. He's safe. He's getting a big jump on Forsch. Pena with a strong arm just doesn't have a chance. So Perry must be reading something on Forsch to get that big jump.
All 3 bases have been stolen on the pitcher tonight. 2 by Perry. 1 by Andres Thomas. Not even close at second base. He's on his way up as the ball arrives.
2 stolen bases tonight for Gerald. Perry has 9 for the year. And Murphy drives it into right center field. Base hit. Perry to third base. They're going to wave him. The throw coming towards second, and he's going to be in there. And Pena's knocked around, and Murphy's got second. And nobody's covering third. Now Forsch goes down there with the ball. Quite a collision at the plate. As Pena was standing up, Perry wasn't going to let him stand there, blocking the plate. And most times, you run over the catcher when he's blocking a plate up from third.
Perry Perry held up. He thought this ball might be caught by her, so he got a very late start. Russ Nixon kept him coming. The throw came towards second, and they still had a play at the plate. But Perry goes in there very tough, and the dropped ball here by Pena allows Murphy to reach second, so an error is charged, and that'll do it for Forsch.
Maybe we can save that. I'd like to comment on that when we come back from this commercial. We're going to have a commercial break now. There's a pitching change. Dolly comes in, and Forsch loses. We'll be back after this commercial.
Entering the game to pitch for the Cardinals, number 48, Bill Dolly.
Griffey the batter. Whitey Herzog sees his team down by a run. They've had a good year. They were in first place in the National League East. I was talking about Perry coming to the plate. It was last night that Perry, attempting to score from second, was thrown out by Coleman. And if you remember, you were watching the game, Pena was up the line toward third from the plate, 3 or 4 feet, and he tagged Perry without Perry sliding. And I'll guarantee you that after that game, Chuck Tanner said to Gerald, with that catcher blocking that plate, standing up the line, you only have one alternative. You got to knock him down to get in. And if you saw that particular play, Perry tried to give him a head and shoulders and got him away from the plate, and also made him drop the ball. 2 balls and a strike. Foul away. You are allowed to block the plate. You're supposed to have the ball, but then you accept the consequences. Every catcher knows that. You can ask Bruce Benedict about Steve Garvey. One that'll go down in the highlight film some years back. Griffey hits it on the right side. That gets Murphy to third.
Tell you what, Ernie, the Braves are doing the things that good ball clubs do. Thomas last night, time after time, took a shot at right field in a spot like that. Finally got a base hit up the middle. Griffey gave himself up there, and he gets a welcoming committee as he goes into the dugout, because that's the infield out, but his teammates realize that he gave himself up for the good of the ball club.
So you thought he got a base hit if you just came in the ballpark. But that's not the case. They've got their infield up, and Thomas fouls the first pitch away. Bill Dolly's a big guy.
He used to be a milkman in the offseason.
He's found this is a much better vocation. You don't have to get up as early, and they pay a little bit more. Here's an 0-1. Look out inside fastball. Dolly is 6'4", 240, born in Norwich, Connecticut. Now lives in Texas. 29 years old. Bounced to first. Murphy holds. Thomas is out. He hit it right at Jack Clark. Murphy didn't have a chance. Now Ozzie Virgil with 2 away. Virgil fouled to right first time up. Strike call. Dolly was in the Cincinnati organization and went to Houston, also with the White Sox in the American League. Fastball inside. One ball, one strike. Murphy's at third. Braves lead 4-3. They've scored in every inning. 2-1. Ozzie would like to pick that figure up. 171 with runners in scoring position. A very important stat. Three and one. The Braves now with 7 hits. The Cardinals with 3. Outside corner. Boy, it had to be perfect. Breaking ball, 3-2. Pena signaling he wants it down. There might be a curveball down. Goes a fastball down. Strikeout. A low fastball on the outside corner. Gets Virgil. But we go to the bottom of the third, up by a run. We're going to the bottom of the third. Vince Coleman leads it off, and here's Skip.
Okay, Ernie, thank you very much. Coleman was called out on strikes his first time. 4-3 Atlanta, now the score. Bob Forsch didn't have it tonight. 2+ innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 strikeout, his line. But it's only a 1-run ball game. Doyle Alexander goes to work. Breaking ball low, 1 ball, no strikes. Again, the wind. The 1-0 line, left field, base hit. The fastest, or among the fastest men in baseball is aboard. He is 29 out of 36 in the stolen base department. And he carries a potential tying run. Short as if to bunt, took it low, 1-0. They couldn't play hit and run here. Ozzie handles the bat pretty well. He doubled the left his first time. .4-3 Atlanta the score, but that lead in jeopardy here. High fly ball down the right side. Murphy giving chase. He's in the bullpen, and he cannot make the catch.
Murphy took one look. He was too close to the railing, really. Just missed it. It got about a roll in there. A long way to go. Almost got it. No play.
A ball and a strike to count on the Cardinal shortstop. Tremendous lead by Coleman, as you see. Ran up to bunt, took it low, 2-1. Ozzie Smith hitting .267 for the year. Boy, that trade turned out great for St. Louis. Gary Templeton went to the Padres, where injuries had really curtailed what looked like it was going to be a great career. Just about had it. That's the first time Alexander has gone over there. Coleman wants to brush himself off.
Ozzie Smith pretty active in the community, too. Very worthy projects. He's become a fixture here in St. Louis.
2 balls and a strike to count. He's going. Fly ball, center field. 1 out. And Coleman retreats. Here's Terry Pendleton with a 19-game hitting streak and a .344 batting average. He bounced to short his first time. David Palmer will pitch for the Braves on Friday night when they come home to play the Cubs, and one of the best in the business, Rick Sutcliffe, will be on the mound. He's back easily this time. Palmer against Sutcliffe on Friday night. Zane Smith against Greg Maddox on Saturday evening. And Doyle Alexander will pitch against Scott Sanderson on Sunday. Right through that. Well, we hope you'll be out at the ballpark if you're in the Atlanta area. These guys have played surprisingly well this year.
Yes, sir. Right around that 500 mark for some time now, and that's all they were looking for at the start. And then they hope to climb over that, of course. But when you stay 4 or 5 games out of first place, you're in pretty good shape.
Close, but he's in there. 4-7-0 for the Braves. 3-4-1 for St. Louis. Again the throw over. Again he goes diving back. If all else fails, you try to take some of the spring out of a fast runner's legs. Right. Continually throwing over there. Pendleton seems like he's been in the batter's box for about a month, but the count is only 0-1. To start, pitch out, nothing happening. 1-1. Braves are idle tomorrow. We'll be with you at 1:30 Thursday afternoon, 7:35 Friday and Saturday, 2:05 Sunday. Again, a big lead. High fly ball center field. James should handle it. And he does. Well, surprisingly, Coleman hasn't run yet, and now you have Jack Clark up there. He hit a home run to the opposite field his first time. Clark now with 45 runs batted in, leads the National League in that department. He's 1 ahead of Eric Davis. A good look at Jack Clark for you. There he goes. Ozzie fell down as he threw it. Ball's in center field. Coleman's on his way to third, and he'll pull up there. A stolen base, his 30th, and an error on Virgil.
Ozzie lost his footing as you watch Coleman break. Now watch Virgil lose his footing. Throw a little bit low. Gets by Hubbard, and they've got a runner at third.
Well, there are 13 more ways to score from third than from second.
So by all means, get there if possible.
1 ball, no strikes. Willie McGee is on deck. associate director tonight, Ken the Killer Nolan, who moonlights as our chauffeur when we're not at the ballpark.
I'm glad somebody does.
The 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. You missed some great adventures last night.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. The 2-1 pitch. Curve missed inside. 3-1. Balls and a strike. Had him way out in front. It's full now, 3-2. Alexander pulled the string on it. And we'll do a payoff pitch to Jack Clark. Rick Mailer against Tim Conroy Thursday. The payoff. Got it. Clark missed the breaking ball. Good job of pitching by Alexander. He looks all right after a shaky first inning. He records his second strikeout. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We've played 3, and the Cardinals trailed the Braves 4-3. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Willie McGee will lead it off. He hit a 435-foot homer his first time. He's hitting .253, and he's driven in 33 runs. And the left-hand hitter digs in. One ball, no strikes. Alexander looks good. He was shaky in the first, but since then he's pitched all right. They're trying to move Ken Griffey over more into left center. Al Monchak with a towel down in the Atlanta dugout. Ground ball to second. Hubbard digs it out. Close play, but he got him. And McGee can fly. 1 down. Here's Tommy Hurry lined out to Perry his first time. Ernie Johnson, Skip Carey with you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
Second baseman, Tom Hurd.
You know, we were talking about the juiced-up baseball, talking with Mike Shannon, former Cardinal player and now broadcaster. He said that they cut a baseball apart in San Diego when they were out there. And got one from last year and one from this year, and there's Michael. They dropped both baseballs, and the new edition bounced 6 inches higher than the other one. Hubbard to his right. 2 out. But if it's juiced for everybody. The only thing that concerns you is a lot of pitchers are getting hit with line drives. In other words, if the ball is livelier, it might be getting back up the middle just a split second quicker, and they can't defend themselves.
On this artificial turf, it's like a blur going through the infield.
Kurt Ford looks at a fast strike over the outside corner. Alexander has thrown just 53 pitches to this point. Very warm day in St. Louis. A lot of tank tops and the like out here at the ballpark. The pitch. One and two. out, nobody left. Moved him off the plate with a fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Through the bat, popped a foul out of play. There's the bat. And there's the batter.
Well, the changeup, that was going down and away like a screwball, and he just stayed alive.
Ford gets the pine tar rag. He was really fooled on that pitch. It's 2-2 with 2 out. Braves on top by 1. Got him. Off-speed breaking ball. Ford is out of there. Strikeout number 3 for Doyle Alexander. Nothing doing in the 4th. He has set down 6 in a row. Check it. That's 4 strikeouts recorded by Alexander. At the end of 4, Braves lead it by 1. We go to the 5th inning. Ken Oberkfell will lead it up. A warm night in St. Louis. A lot of young people out at the ballpark tonight, as you can see. Pitch to Obi. Fastball in there, 0-1. Oberkfell has lined hard to left and ripped a double into right center. He has scored a run. And he has had a heck of a year. Moved outside. It's a ball on the strike. Bill Dawley has done another good job here. He pitched an inning and a third of perfect baseball last night. Into left center, but McGee will probably run it down. He does.
Second time tonight he's made a good catch. He takes a look to see if Coleman's in the area. He doesn't want to run into him. Puts the brakes on there and catches it.
Here's Gerald Perry. He's 2 out of 2 with 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, 1 driven in. Dale Murphy moves on deck. Fastball is in there, 0-1 at the end of this half inning. We'll make our way to radio, and Pete Van Weer and John Sterling will join you. Nothing in 2. Is the count on Gerald Perry. Time call now. What in the world came sailing out of the...
Well, I don't know. Something came out of the seats.
Somebody threw... What is that thing?
Name tag with Joe on it.
A ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball to her. Her has it. Her throws, and her has retired Perry. Her has 2 down. Murphy has driven in 2 runs. He's 2 for 2. A couple of singles. Dawley has slammed the door. And he continues his good work. Smith doesn't have a strong arm, but he unloads more quickly than anybody in baseball. Another perfect inning for Dawley. We've reached the halfway mark in the ball game. So far, so good. The Braves lead it 4-3.
There's the line score. The Braves leading 4-3 as we go to the second half of the ball game. And along with Pete Van Weren, John Sterling joining you on Braves television right now. Tony Pena will lead off for the Cardinals here in the 5th. Normally you'd expect a pinch hitter for Dolly, but he has pitched so brilliantly in relief, retiring all 9 men he's faced, that there is no warm-up activity in the Cardinal bullpen. They've had to use a lot of relief pitches like the Braves, like most teams in baseball. The year of the hitter, so Dolly is on deck. Then the top of the order and Vince Coleman. Alexander made 2 bad pitches, and it cost him. Since then, he's pitched brilliantly. And that's bounced high. Hubbard can't make the play. It'll be a base hit. Normally Glenn Hubbard makes that play, and he would tell you he should have had it, but it'll be a hit, I'm sure.
You do tend to rush just a little bit in a play like that when Tony Pena is running to first base. He has excellent speed for a catcher. That's what the Cardinals need, another guy that can run.
Well, here's Bill Dolly in an obvious bunt situation. If you've tuned in late, and since it's a tape delay, I guess you did tune in late. The Braves scored a run in the first, and Alexander had his problems in the bottom half. Dolly squares, but takes low and outside, ball 1. Ozzie Smith doubled to left, and with 2 outs, Jack Clark hit a high fastball over the right center field wall for a 2-run home run. And on the next pitch, Willie McGee hit a monstrous home run to right. Dolly bunts. Alexander's only play. Well, he has one at second, and the relay is wild, but stays on the field to play.
I don't know if Bill Dolly may have made a turn inside the line.
Let's see.
Nope.
He tried to stop on the line.
Oh, Chuck Tanner's going to argue, and Chuck Tanner has a good point here. Dolly got about 10 steps past the bag at first. When he saw the throw go, he broke and took about 2 steps into fair territory toward second base. Then he came back and walked back toward first. The Braves are appealing that Dolly was tagged out before he got back to the bag because he did make a turn.
At the end of the play, watch Dolly at the end of the play. As Alexander goes to second base, he kind of falls off the line, so to speak.
It's after he gets past the bag. He's about 10 steps maybe past the bag when the throw gets by. Now see if you can see him in the corner of your picture there. Still going. Now he'll take a turn right there. Well, he runs out of your picture, but he definitely runs back into fair territory.
No, Pete, you could see his feet at the end of the play. He did kind of teeter on the line, look back, and make, maybe 2 steps, and then he got back on the line, so to speak. So they let it go. It's simply a force play. And Dolly's at first base with 1 out. I didn't know if Alexander had enough time, and he made a great throw to second base. Well, there's 1 away, and here's Vince Coleman. Coleman is struck out, then singled to left. A line drive to left center field over the outstretched glove of Andres Thomas. Stole second.
I'll tell you another reason why I think the Cardinals got a break there. Their first base coach, Rich Hacker, was gesturing frantically to Dolly to get back to first.
Well, it was really kind of odd because Dolly kind of took a turn and then tried to jump back on the line like a little kid who had been discovered with his fingers in the cookie jar. If you do go past that line and turn towards second base, you can be tagged out. 1-1 on Coleman. Dolly off at first base, and the Braves have a 4-3 lead. Alexander outside, 2-1. If Alexander can pitch it, he'll go 9 innings. They're not having any pitch count on Alexander or innings count. But if he could carry a lead into, let's say, the 7th inning or so, the Braves would be very happy. They got a complete game out of Zane Smith last night. And Charlie Palaio went 7 the day before. 2-2 on the foul ball. The Braves just need a little bit more pitching to stay in the Western pennant race, because this ball club is going to score runs. If they were scoring runs because 1 or 2 people were having very hot months and hitting a bunch of home runs, that'd be one thing. But they're scoring runs because all 14 players, all 14 non-pitchers are contributing.
And the pitchers aren't doing too bad a job with the bat either.
No,
when it comes right down to it.
Mailer and Smith and Palaio. And Alexander knocked in a run in his first at bat. The Cubbies got a run. They trail 2-1 going to the bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati. Dion James will run it down. and two-way.
Braves pitchers have driven in 16 runs this year.
Shortstop, Ozzie Smith.
Here's Ozzie Smith with 2 outs. Bill Dawley, one of the few Cardinals who is not a threat to steal down at first base. Ozzie has a double in 2 trips. He later scored on Clark's home run. His double went to the opposite field. And he takes a strike. Ozzie, who for so many years batted 8th in whatever lineup he was in, the Padres or the Cardinals, now very happy in that second spot and hitting very well. Is 0-2. Vince Coleman has stolen 30 bases. Ozzie has stolen 11. He puts it in play and lines it foul down the left field line. Ozzie Smith really handling the bat very well. That was good indication there. Alexander way ahead 0-2. Wastes the pitch and wastes it badly. It caroms off Virgil and rolls to the Cardinal dugout. And Dawley is going to be held at second base as the ball rolled off the field of play. So Dawley goes to second on the wild pitch, and he's in scoring position.
If he had been running on this play, he would have been allowed to go to third. But since he was not running on the pitch, even though the ball bounces into the dugout, he'll just be allowed one base.
Virgil shifted. He just got a bad break. The ball bounced off his chest protector and took a wild carom. And Alexander now will deliver 1-2 to Ozzie Smith. Took something off, and Ozzie kind of cued it right off the end of his bat. Cardinals have $27,500 something paid, a little bit under their average of $34,500. Pete, I wonder if the Cardinals stay in the pennant race all year, will they draw $3 million?
They could. If they average 35,000, they will. They're very close to that right now.
Looped to center. Deion James can't get it. It's tie ball game. So the wild pitch on the 0-2 count comes back to haunt Alexander as Ozzie Smith loops in the game-tying run with a base hit.
And all Ozzie Smith tries to do is just keep the ball in play somewhere. He doesn't swing that hard. That time he just sort of flicked the bat out at the ball. Dropped it into center field. Drives in his 19th run of the year.
That takes Bob Forsch off the hook. Now Dawley's game to win or lose. We're tied at 4 in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Terry Pendleton. Terry is 0 for 2, and he has a 19-game hitting streak on the line. Ozzie fakes going, and the pitch is taken down low, ball 1. Well, they keep averaging 34,000. They'll go well over $3 million. Strike on the breaking ball. Only one team, to my knowledge, has ever drawn $3 million. Of course, the Dodgers have done it maybe 6, 7, or 8 times. Mets came close last year. The Yankees have come close. I guess Kansas City has come close. The Angels and the Cardinals have come fairly close. I don't think anyone else has broken it. Pete, do you know?
Just the Dodgers.
Just the Dodgers. That's what I thought. The Dodgers are off to the races again in attendance. They're averaging 40,000 people. That's averaging. That pitch down low, and the count 2-1 on Pendleton. This is how Doyle Alexander works. He shows you a little bit of this, a little bit of that. chases Ozzie Smith back with the throw. Glenn Hubbard makes the play, and the Cardinals get the tying run in the 5th. And get a run on 2 hits and leave 1. And now at the end of 5 innings of play, we're all knotted at 4.
An easy way to guarantee yourself season-long coverage of the Atlanta Braves is by subscribing to Super Sports News, the monthly magazine of the Braves. The next issue features outfielder Deion James, extensive minor league coverage, and much more. And if your order is postmarked by May 28th, you'll also receive a 1987-88 full-color Braves calendar. To subscribe, send $11.95 for the next 12 issues to Super Sports News, P.O. Box 89162, Atlanta, Georgia 30312.
Ken Griffey will lead off for the Braves here in the 6th. You look at Chuck Tanner studying his lineup card. Managers decide what moves they're going to make a few innings before they make them. They have a tie ball game here. Chuck Tanner very good at keeping 1, 2, or 3 of his best pinch hitters for just the right situation when you have to pitch to a Ted Simmons or a Greg Nettles, let's say. Griffey fouls it off very quietly. Griffey is having a phenomenal season. Because with that hip muscle injury that he had that sidelined him for a week or so, Griffey's knocked in 25 runs, hitting at .368, and he doesn't have 100 at bats yet. Well, that's corked a deep right center field. Forward, back, it is gone. Home run. Ken Griffey puts the Braves ahead. The Braves lead the major leagues now in runs scored. They have so many contributors, and there's a big one rounding 3rd. Ken Griffey with home run number 5 and RBI number 26.
And Bill Dawley out on the mound has been having this kind of thing happen to him for the last 2 years. Last year with the Chicago White Sox, Dawley had a very good earned run average down in the low 3s, but he was 0-7. This year, he is 0-3 with the Cardinals. And as soon as the Cardinals get back in the game, tying it up, Dawley, who had retired 9 in a row, throws a gopher ball to Ken Griffey.
Boy, and that was a shot. That was near 400 feet. Andres Thomas takes a strike. Up and down the lineup, the Braves hit and score runs. Doesn't matter who plays. Thomas fouls it off. Of the 14 Braves who are non-pitchers, there's Paul Ossenmacher in the bullpen. Of the 14 Braves who are non-pitchers, 12 have driven in runs in double figures this year. That's pretty good. Thomas looks at call strike 3. Oh, 1 away here in the Braves 6th.
Breaking ball outside corner.
Now Ozzie, who hit his 15th last night, which is remarkable because he only had 15 all of last year. He's at 12 in the month of May. Braves lead at 5-4. We're in the 6th. Willie McGee has a lot of room on the edge of the track. That ball goes near 400 feet, but can of corn here where the center field fence is 414. Well, 2-way, and here's Glenn Hubbard. Hubbard might encompass how the Braves have turned around their hitting fortunes this year. This is the best hitting that Glenn Hubbard's ever done in his career. And I talked to him about it last night. He said, I'm seeing the ball great, and I'm hitting line drives.
Bob Skinner made an interesting point about Hubbard before the game tonight. He's approaching his hitting a little differently this year. He used to chase a lot of pitches that were up high, around letter high on the strike zone. And he has a little bit of an uppercut swing anyway. All he would ever get out of that would be a fly ball shallow to the outfield. He's laying off that pitch more this year, making the pitcher come down in the strike zone. And And by doing that, he's not popping the ball up into the shallow parts of the outfield quite as often, making much better contact.
And going a lot to the opposite field. Dawley was low with the slider, so he's behind Hubbard 2-0. Alexander is on deck, and Ossenmacher is in the bullpen. Hubbard hitting at .313. He's 1 for 2 tonight. 3-0. I told you the Braves lead the major leagues in runs scored. They're second in batting average in the National League. They're second in hits. They were just 1 hit behind San Francisco going into tonight's game, and the Braves have 8 more hits here in the 6th. And they're also first in on-base percentage, and of the 10 top players in the National League in on-base percentage, 3 are Braves. That's one of them, Glenn Hubbard, along with Murphy and Deion James.
Now there's a pitch that, even though the count was 3-0, Glenn Hubbard in past years would have very often gone after.
You took a look at Deion James in the Braves dugout. Now the 3-1. Hubbard taking all the way. I'd like to get the pitcher spot out of the way this inning if they could. Hubbard has to get on. The count 3-2. That's Ken Daly, the ex-Brave, in the Cardinal bullpen. The slider is popped up and back at first. Clark retires Hubbard, but the Braves regain the lead on Ken Griffey's number 5 of the season. A run on a hit, no errors, no one left. At the end of 5 1/2, the Braves lead the Cardinals by 1. A little feller brings his mitt to the ballpark. They get great family business here in St. Louis. People come from all over the Midwest and Southwest, I guess. My geography is terrible. People come from all over to come to these games. In the bullpen, the right-handed Jim Acker joins left-handed Paul Ossenmacher as Bruce Dow Canton and Chuck Tanner put a very watchful eye on Alexander. It's his first start after 3 appearances in the rehabilitation program in the minor leagues. And we're in the 6th. Here's Jack Clark. This is the breaking ball, strike 1. Pete Van Weer and John Sterling with you on Braves television. Atlanta leads 5-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Another terrific baseball game. Alexander, when he touches his chest, as he did with his glove, way outside, he's either changing the pitch or sometimes, depending on how many swipes, acknowledging the pitch. In effect, Doyle really calls his own game. Clark hit a home run to right, a 2-run home run, and then he struck out. Breaking ball is down low, 2-1. In the first inning, Alexander made Clark miss on a sidearm breaking ball, and then tried the fastball, and Clark hit it out to right center. Then he struck him out on a breaking ball a second time up. The count 2-2 on Jack the Ripper. Willie McGee on deck, and then Tom Herr here in the Cardinals 6th. Braves trying to protect a 1-run lead. They lead it 5-4, 5-8-1. And the Cardinals 4-6-1. Good pitch by Alexander. Comes sidearm, drops down, and gets Clark down and away. 1 out.
Alexander, in effect, has about 21 different ways of going after a hitter. He throws 7 different pitches, and in each one of those pitches, he'll go overhand, 3/4, or sidearm, and he changes speeds on all of them. So if you're up there guessing as a hitter, you better be guessing right.
He gives you a little of this, a little of that, and tries not to throw the same pitch twice in a row. There's a strike to Willie McGee. If you missed it in the first inning, McGee hit the ever-popular hanging curveball as far as he'll ever hit a home run off the facing of the third deck, or the upper deck, 435 feet away. A lot of room in that outfield, and Deion James comfortably makes the catch just in front of the warning track, 2 away. Well, Pete, I guess as long as Alexander gets him out, they'll let him pitch. And since the first inning, he really has not been hit hard.
I think we're in the situation at this stage in the game with just a 1-run lead where he's in there as long as there are no more base runners. 1 base runner might get him out of there.
Now here's Tom Herr with 2 outs. Getting down toward the end of the Cardinal order, Herr bats 6th. Then Kurt Ford and Tony Pena. And the pitcher spot. Well, Alexander has not shown any rust at all. He has not walked a batter. He has struck out 5. And as I say, the only thing he did wrong was 2 bad pitches to Clark and McGee in the first inning. 2 bad pitches were good for 3 runs. Since then, he's pitched very well. He surrendered a very ineffectual weak run in the last inning. Spots the fastball outside, 1-1. Pena's little tapper. A little too slow for Hubbard to get and throw him out. And then after 2 outs and a wild pitch that moved the runner up, a little pop fly by Ozzie Smith. Knocked the run in. Herr fouls it away. And there's no question about it. The Braves need Alexander to be a winning pitcher in their rotation. And if a couple, 3 others pitch fairly well, the Braves are hanging the pennant race all year. And they do have the offense. Here's the 1-2. That'll twist foul down the left field line out of play, so the count remains 1-2. There's Ken Daly coming in from the bullpen. They're not getting down to Dawley's spot. But the Braves, after Alexander leads off the 7th, have all their left-hand hitters coming up. So Whitey Herzog, who wants the lead to stay right there, brings in his left-hander Ken Daly. A ball and 2 strikes on Tom Herr with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the 6th. Struck him out swinging. Alexander took something off. That might have been the Scroogey. It kind of twisted away from Herb. Doyle has 6 strikeouts. The Cardinals nothing across in the 6th. After 6 innings of play, the Braves 5 and the Cardinals 4. As you look at Ken Daly, who is the 3rd Cardinal pitcher, back of Bob Forsch and Bill Dawley, the question was asked between innings, would Alexander hit for himself and then come out in the bottom of the 7th? And the answer is yes. Alexander will hit here in the top of the 7th. He has an RBI on a ground ball. After Alexander, the Braves have 3 left-hand hitters, James Oberkfell and Gerald Perry. Braves lead at 5-4. We go to the top of the 7th, and to carry you along, here's Pete.
Okay, thank you, John. Alexander 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. He has driven in 1. 5-4 Atlanta. Cardinals making a double switch here. Ken Daly, the new pitcher. Jose Oquendo has checked into the game at second base. Oquendo bats in the 9th spot. And here's the pitch to Alexander. Didn't get the Ken Daly fastball. 0-1. There's Oquendo, who will bat 9th. Tommy Herr out of the lineup. Daly making just his 3rd appearance since coming off the disabled list. He's given up nothing yet. And the Cardinals have been very, very pleased with the way Ken Daly has thrown the ball. He had that Tommy John operation, a transplant of a ligament in his elbow. Here's the 1-1 now to Alexander. 1-2.
And that operation has been proven successful by Tommy John, who just won his 4th game of the year for the Yanks yesterday at the age of 44.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Doyle Alexander. A little tap to short. Ozzie Smith on to first. One down in the top half of the 7th inning. And Deion James steps in. He is grounded out to second, struck out, and lined out to short. Braves leading at 5-4. Atlanta has out-hit St. Louis 8-6. A former #1 draft pick by the Atlanta Braves. He was traded to the Cardinals for Ken Oberkfell. Mike Jorgensen also went to the Cardinals in that deal. He's now St. Louis's AAA manager at Louisville. 1-1 the count on Deion James. 1-1 on the way. Breaking ball caught the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dolly worked 4 innings, gave up just 1 hit, but it went all the way. Ken Griffey's 5th homer of the year, which gave the lead back to Atlanta 5-4. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Deion James. It's not too bad. .250 batting average against left-handers. Did he go? He went. Plate umpire Jerry Crawford making the call, and Deion James out of there on strikes.
And you see the end of the strikeout. A little embarrassing for Deion James. He puts his bat down. He puts his hat down. Starts to go to center field, and then realizes, oops, 2 outs.
Third baseman Ken Obergefell.
So now with 2 down, Ken Obergefell, who has flied to center twice and doubled to center. He's hit the ball hard all 3 times up. Willie McGee has caught up with it in left center twice. The ball hit to right center by Obergefell, dropped for a double. A ball, no strikes on Obergefell. Cincinnati beat the Cubs tonight 3-2 on Dave Parker's 9th inning homer. So the Cardinals stay in first place in the East regardless of what happens here. They'll maintain at least a 1-game lead over the Cubs. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Obergefell. It misses high and away in the count 3-1. Gerald Perry waiting on deck. The 3-1 delivery at the letters for a called strike. Same 2 clubs in the final game of this series on Thursday, 1:30 Eastern time. Rick Mailer goes against Tim Conroy. Then the Braves home for a nice long homestand. 12 games. It begins with the Cubs on Friday night. The 3-2 pitch on the way to Obergefell. Grounded to the right side. It's through into right field, base hit. Obergefell with his 2nd hit of the game. And that's the first hit given up in 3 relief appearances by Ken Daly. Gerald Perry with a pair of singles in 3 at-bats. He has stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs, driven in 1. He's had a good series. He had 2 hits in the game last night. When you look at the Braves batting order, the only guy whose average doesn't really jump out at you is that of Gerald Perry, who came into the game hitting .225. Now, if his bat starts to warm up, which it has the last couple of games, the Braves offer a very, very difficult lineup to pitch to. And there's a sharply hit ground ball. What a play by Oquendo at second base. Oquendo steals a base hit from Gerald Perry's bat. The 4-6 force play ends the inning. And we go to the bottom half of the 7th with the Braves still leading it 5-4. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, lower 3rd of the order. Due up for the Cardinals, it's now Kurt Ford, Tony Pena, and Jose Oquendo batting in the 9 spot. Kurt Ford is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to first and struck out. 5-4. Atlanta leads it. Doyle Alexander's first outing has been a good one. Ken Griffey's going to have to play it on the hop, and Kurt Ford has himself a leadoff single. The Braves bullpen up again here in the 7th inning. Right-hander Jim Acker and left-hander Paul Ossenmacher. And we may get a change made right here. Chuck Tanner very seldom lets a pitcher get into the 7th inning with a chance to win a game.
that pitcher in there when the team is threatening to score to either tie the game up or take a lead. So Doyle Alexander will be lifted here after a fine outing. Right-hander Jim Acker will be brought in to pitch to Tony Pena. And while Acker warms up, we'll take time out for this. Alexander in his first outing with the Braves this year, working 6 innings, facing 1 batter here in the 7th, giving up 7 hits, 4 runs to this point. The runner at first belongs to him. No walks, 6 strikeouts. And when you take away that first inning when the Cardinals hit 2 home runs and scored 3 of their 4 runs, after that, Alexander really pitched very well. I don't care how many years you've been around, the butterflies are going to be there when you're pitching your first game of the season. Jim Acker takes over. Acker, a good buddy of Doyle Alexander's. He makes his 20th appearance. And Tony Pena up in a bunt situation. Acker throws to first. Pena has struck out and singled. One ball, no strikes. Gene Garber has now joined Paul Ossenmacher in the Atlanta bullpen. Atlanta leads it. Bottom half of inning 7. There's your runner at first, Kurt Ford. The pitch to Pena is again up and in. And the count 2-0. In a bunt situation, pitchers try to get the ball up. It's very easy when you're trying to bunt to pop a ball up when it's up high like that. The 2-0 Pena swinging, going to hit it right to Andres Thomas, and that backfires. A 6-3 double play for Atlanta. They put the hit and run on. Andres Thomas was breaking toward the bag, and Tony Pena hit it right to him.
And you wondered, would the ball get there in time for Thomas to step on the bag? Yes. And then the rest of the double play was easy.
Second baseman, Jose.
Whitey Herzog will probably kick himself for taking the bunt off. Of course, the ball goes through. He looks like a genius. Didn't look like it because the ball didn't go through.
Now Jose Oquendo, who is batting .355. No homers, 5 RBIs. He's a switch hitter who never hit in his career anywhere in the minor leagues. I mean, batting averages down in the 100s. All of a sudden, the last 2 years, he's become a pretty good hitter. .297 last year for the Cardinals. .355 this year. Listen to some of Oquendo's minor league batting averages. 169, 214, 118, 159, 211. Inexplicable, really.
And he looks like a hitter, Pete, from both sides of the plate. He's become very aggressive. Swing on the bat.
Here's the 0-2. Line drive caught by Oberkfell, and the inning's over. So Acker comes in and gets the job done in the 7th. Nothing doing for the Cardinals. We go to the 8th with Atlanta still leading at 5-4. We go to the 8th inning. Pete Van Weer and John Sterling with you from St. Louis. Atlanta with a 5-4 lead. It'll be Dale Murphy, Ken Griffey, and Andres Thomas due up against Ken Daly. Murphy tonight, 2 singles and a ground out, 2 RBIs. He's now hit safely in 6 straight games. And Ken Daly's first offering. Taken high and away, ball 1. Doing a little dance on that one. He wasn't going to get tagged by that ball if Tony Pena missed it. Tony saying, come on, Jerry, show a little more confidence in that. 2-0 the count. The let-up missing high and away. It's 3-0 on Murphy. Takes a strike, 3-1. Ken Daly with a 3-1 delivery hit off the end of the bat. I guess everybody's okay down there. They didn't have much time to get out of the way of that one. Full count now, 3-2. Daly with the payoff pitch, just missed inside. So Daly issues his first walk. That's the first walk of the game given up by Cardinal pitching. Now Ken Griffey was flied to left, grounded out to first, and in the 6th inning hit his 5th home run of the season to break the 4-4 tie. Right now that run still holding up. Out in the 8th. Murphy is going. Griffey drives one deep again to right center field. McGee and Ford are going back, and Willie McGee on the edge of the warning track makes the catch. Murphy scampers back to first. In a lot of ballparks, that would have been Ken Griffey's 2nd home run of the night, but not here in St. Louis.
It's a breaking ball, and Griffey hit it deep. But that's probably near 400 feet away where McGee caught the ball. Griffey has become an even better hitter since his stay in the American League. He certainly has a lot more power than he had when he was in the National League. And he can hit righties and lefties and hit for power against both.
Under is Thomas, the batter. He's 1 for 3. A single, a ground out, and a strikeout. Daly deals. Strike in the inside corner, 0-1. Todd Worrell up now in the Cardinal bullpen. He normally would not come into a game with the Cardinals trailing. But Whitey Herzog, like so many other managers, has had to use his bullpen an awful lot lately. There's the 0-1. Fly ball foul off to the right. It'll drop out of play. 0-2. Del Maxfield, John, talking to me before the game, the general manager of the Cardinals, really concerned a little bit about the lack of quality players, not only in the Cardinal farm system, but throughout baseball. He said very few teams can look to their farm system right now and see more than 5 or 6 really top prospects.
And he's talking about pitching, and that's the shortage in the major leagues. It is the year of the hitter. You know, the Cardinals carry 11 pitchers on their staff. They only carry 13 non-pitchers, which is a lot of pitchers to use.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, I know one thing that happens. Pitchers get to the major leagues very, very quickly these days. They don't get much schooling in the minor leagues like they used to. You used to have to work your way up from A to AA. Well, before that, from D to C to B to A. And then to AAA. And usually pitchers used to spend a couple of years at the AAA level. Not anymore. Pena to first. Thomas on the swinging bunt is thrown out. Down to second goes Dale Murphy. A swinging bunt by Andres. Pena really kind of makes a nice play because Thomas was right up the line, so Pena kind of lofts the ball right over Andres' head to make the play. Now the Braves have a big run at second base, and so there's a conference on the mound and some questions I guess the Cardinals have to answer. They're going to walk Virgil and go after Glenn Hubbard, pitch carefully to Virgil, or even bring in Worrell, the right-hander. Ozzie Virgil tonight, 0 for 3. He's fouled out to right, struck out, and fly to center. Looks like we're going to get Todd Worrell and maybe one other change. Whitey Herzog's going to stop by and notify plate umpire Jerry Crawford. It's interesting that he's bringing Worrell in now because most managers, Pete, you indicated this about Worrell. It's also true of Lee Smith. Don't like to bring their closer in, especially early in the year,
unless the team is either tied or winning. They don't want to use up his arm. And here Worrell is coming in with the Cardinals a run down to prevent another run from coming in. Well, Worrell comes in, and we'll duck out for this.
Double change for St. Louis. Ron Booker takes over at second base, replacing Jose Oquendo. Booker will bat 6th in the order. And the new pitcher who will bat in the number 9 spot, right-hander Todd Worrell, has had a funny year. This is his 20th game. You see, he's made 10 saves already this season in 19 appearances, but his one-loss record 0-2, his ERA very high, 7.31. Given up 25 hits, including 3 home runs in 16 innings. So he hasn't pitched that well, but he has been able to notch 10 saves. And he'll face Ozzie Virgil here. One more story on the pitching and the depth of it in minor league systems. The Texas Rangers proved just in the last 48 hours what we were mentioning before. They wanted to call up a pitcher from their minor league system, and their best prospect that they had was all the way down at the A level, a kid named Bob Malloy, who had pitched just 8 games professionally and won 5 of them, and they felt he's ready.
Isn't that something? That shows you they didn't have any pitching at their other minor league outposts.
Ozzie Virgil with a runner at second and 2 outs. Braves leading at 5-4 in the 8th. Murphy, the runner, down at second. Worrell delivers, and Virgil pops it foul. Let's see if it'll stay in play for Tony Pena. Back near the Braves dugout. Just enough room for Pena to make the play. And that's all for Atlanta in the 8th. The runner is stranded at second. We go to the bottom half of inning 8. Still 5-4 Atlanta. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Vince Coleman, Ozzie Smith, and Terry Pendleton do up against Jim Acker, who's trying to preserve a 1-run lead. For Doyle Alexander, the Braves bullpen active again as this inning begins. Right-hander Gene Garber, left-hander Paul Ossenmacher working. And Vince Coleman will lead it off. He's 1 for 3, had a single back in the 3rd. He has also struck out and fly to center. We've talked about the livelier ball, or the possibility of a livelier ball, the number of home runs being hit this year. Coleman swings and misses. Mike Shannon, the Cardinal broadcaster, made a good point. He said Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith, neither known for having any power, neither has hit a home run this year, but Mike Shannon says that they've both hit several balls to the warning track, which you almost never saw a year ago. Ozzie Smith, I believe, has reached the warning track with 6 fly balls, and Coleman with 4. Bunted toward first. Perry's going to really have to hurry. Just in time.
Here's the drag bunt by Vince Coleman. You want to get this ball past the mound, but really more towards second base. But he bunted it too close to the line, so Perry could make really an easy play. And when you only have 6 outs to get, and Vince Coleman leads off an inning, that, I know it's a cliche, but that really is a big out.
Ozzie Smith, 2 out of 3, a double, a single, a fly out. He scored 1, driven in 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 5-4 Atlanta, bottom of the 8th inning. Braves trying to win their 3rd game in 5 tries on this road trip. In the hole, base hit left field. Ozzie Smith with his 3rd hit of the game. And that's hit number 8 by St. Louis.
Boy, you hear talk about the inside-out swing. That was it. Ozzie Smith going inside out to get the ball to left field. His 3rd hit of the game.
Now Terry Pendleton, who's trying to extend a 19-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He is grounded out to short, fly to center, and grounded out to second. Ozzie Smith will have to be watched carefully at first. He's 11 out of 12 in the stolen base department. Acker throws over. Ozzie Smith gets back. Strike on the outside corner to Terry Pendleton. Anytime a hitter gets a long hitting streak going, gets you thinking, of course, about Joe DiMaggio and that 56-game string. That record may stand forever. Just think of Terry Pendleton. He's hit in 19 straight. If he hits in 19 straight from now on, and then 19 straight again, then he will break DiMaggio's record. One ball, one strike. Boy, that was a close play. Ozzie Smith almost didn't get back to the bag there.
And a great throw right down to where the tag can be applied, and the minute the runner slides back. That was a very good throw by Akron. Ozzie just got back.
One ball, one strike, one out. A one-run Atlanta lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the 1-1 pitch to Pendleton is high, 2-1. Jim Acker seeking his 5th save of the season. There goes Ozzie Smith. The 2-1 pitch is fouled away by Pendleton. And it's 2-2. Smith returns to first, checking his third base coach, Nick Leba. Hitter, the always dangerous Jack Clark. Two balls, two strikes. The 2-2, that missed high in the count, full 3-2. Well, now Ozzie Smith almost certain to be going, even though there's only one out. Whitey Herzog very seldom applies the brakes on his speedsters on 3-2 counts. There comes a 3-2 with the runner going. It's fouled away by Pendleton. So the count stays full, 3-2. Crowd of 27,523 on hand here tonight. The biggest advance sale of this series is for Thursday afternoon's game. We might have 40,000 here for that one. That is a school holiday here in St. Louis, and they expect a lot of kids out here on Thursday. Three and two, the count on Pendleton. Ozzie Smith takes off, and there's a bouncing ball to Hubbard. His only play will be at first, in plenty of time to get Pendleton. Down to second, Ozzie Smith. So Pendleton's hitting streak in jeopardy now. Unless the Cardinals tie it up, it's unlikely that Pendleton will get to the plate again. The batter, Jack Clark, who hit a 2-run homer in the first and struck out in the third and again in the sixth. Clark now at 32 RBIs for the month of May. And that's an all-time Major League record. He broke Hack Wilson's record of 31, set back in 1930. And there still are 5 days to go in the month. Clark is now the league leader in RBIs with 45. He leads Eric Davis of the Reds by 1. Outside, ball 1. 2 men out. Ozzie Smith at second base. Jim Acker steps off. Ozzie Smith bothering him a little down at second. strike. Tell you what, at the rate Jack Clark is going now, he's got 45 RBIs. This is his 42nd game. He's got a shot at driving in 150 runs this year. And he very seldom bats with nobody on base. He's got a runner at second right now. Here's the 1-1. High in the air, but foul off to the right. And the count goes to 1-2. Not only does Jack Clark very seldom bat with nobody on base, but the runner is usually at second or third because of the speed of Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith.
And those are runners who know how to score runs, too. Coleman and Ozzie Smith and Terry Pendleton hit ahead of him.
You saw what happened 2 years ago when Tommy Herr had Vince Coleman and Willie McGee hitting ahead of him in the order. He drove in over 100 runs for the only time in his career. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Now Acker and Virgil want to hold a little meeting. They can't get together on the pitch.
They want to be sure on what they want to throw because they have Clark, a ball and 2 strikes and 2 outs with the tying run at second. Willie McGee, a switch hitter, is on deck.
So the meeting over, and now we'll see what decision Acker and Virgil have made on this 1-2 pitch. Ozzie Smith represents the tying run down at second base. And the 1-2. Got him. Threw him a curveball. That's Jim Acker's 3rd pitch. And he couldn't have picked a better spot for it. He very seldom throws a curve, but he got Jack Clark looking at that one. We go to the 9th inning. It's still 5-4 Atlanta. In the top half of the 9th inning, Glenn Hubbard, Jim Acker, and Dion James will try to get a little insurance against Todd Worrell. Hubbard is doubled, grounded out to third, and fouled out to first. Braves trying to get back to a game over 500. Bouncing away from Pena. 1 ball, no strikes on Hubbard. Braves again have come from behind in this one. They were down 3-1 after the first inning. Now lead at 5-4. And the count 2-0 on Hubbard. Here's the 2-0. Coming right back this way. That might have made it into the Cardinal booth. The mad Hungarian. Charge him with an error. He's mad.
He got out of the way. Kenny Wilson got it on the bounce.
Al Roboski and Ken Wilson working in the St. Louis telecast. Two and two, the count now on Glenn Hubbard. Jerry Crawford hearing it from the Braves dugout, and he's upset with somebody. Who's he going over to get? It was not from Chuck Tanner's direction. It was from down in that end of the dugout where Greg Nettles and Gary Renicky and Rafael Ramirez and Ken Griffey. Tell you what, that's a pretty good quartet of needlers right there. Two and two, the count. Hit to the right side, and there's another off-field base hit for Glenn Hubbard. That's something he's done extremely well all year, his second hit of this game. And both of the hits today have been to right. Well, now Jim Acker will bat for himself and try to bunt him over. Acker 2 out of 6 as a hitter this year, but this obviously a bunt situation. 10 hits now for Atlanta. 1-0 pitching to Acker, who squares, takes a strike. I tell you what, where Terry Pendleton is finishing his charge, I don't know how you could possibly get a bunt out and get the runner down to second base. Pendleton is almost right in front of home plate.
You can get the bunt down, but you won't get the runner to second base.
Here comes the 0-1. Acker pushes it down the right side, trying to keep it away from Pendleton. Fouled it away 0-2. Clark has to stay back a little further at first base to hold the runner. See if he's still bunting here with 2 strikes. He squares again and missed it. Acker a strikeout victim. Now back to the top of the order, Dion James, who is looking for his first hit of the game. He's grounded out to second, struck out twice, and lined out to short. Dion in a little bit of a slump. He's 1 for his last 16. Haven't seen his batting average below the 300 mark very often this year, but it's down to 296 now. Worrell delivers. Fastball outside.
You look at Dion James's unusual batting stance. He took a page out of Cecil Cooper's book when Dion was with Milwaukee. That's kind of how Cooper hits, and Cooper, of course, been a terrific left-hand hitter over the years.
Hubbard chased back. Braves clinging to a 5-4 lead. We're in the 9th inning. And a 1-0 pitch to James. Hit foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ken Obergefell on deck. Due up for the Cardinals in their half of the 9th inning, Willie McGee, Rod Booker, and Kurt Ford. Here's the 1-1. 2-1. The 2-1 on the way to James. Fouled away again. That evens the count on Dion. 2-2. Dion James, a native of California. Just 24 years old. Came over in the Brad Kamensk deal. Kamensk, by the way, hitting quite well with Denver, Milwaukee's AAA farm club. He has 9 home runs. The 2-2 to James, way high. Full count, 3-2. See if Chuck Tanner sends Glenn Hubbard in this spot. There goes Hubbard. 3-2 is cut on miss. Pena unable to make the throw, and they're going to call the out. They're going to call Dion James for interfering with Tony Pena. So an interference call against Dion James. Pena unable to get himself clear to make that throw. Jerry Crawford made the call. You'll see it again as we go out. We go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It is still 5-4 Atlanta. Unusual double play ending the top half of the 9th inning. Dion James strikes out against Todd Worrell with the runner going. Now James always kind of falls in over the plate, but this time he falls right in the way of Tony Pena, and batter interference means that the runner is out. So give both putouts to the catcher. One of the few times that you'll ever see a double play catcher unassisted. There's your score. 5-4 Braves. Willie McGee, Rod Booker, and Kurt Ford. Due up here in the bottom of the 9th for St. Louis, and McGee takes a strike against Jim Acker. Gene Garber, the right-hander, Paul Ossenmacher, the lefty, in the Braves bullpen. McGee with a home run, a ground out, and a fly out tonight. The home run was a massive one, almost made it to the upper deck in right field. 1-1. McGee's batting average not where he'd like it to be, but he has driven in 33 runs on the season, second only to Jack Clark on the Cardinal team. Now the 1-1 on the way. Missing high, 2-1. The seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Willie McGee. Virgil out for a meeting with Jim Acker. Willie McGee taking a little rest. He does that a lot. He does that in the outfield too when pitching changes are being made. Two, the count of McGee. Jim Acker ready. Slapped it foul down toward the Braves bullpen. Where Garber and Ossenmacher are ready. Jim Acker, who became a close friend of Doyle Alexander when they were teammates at Toronto, would love to be able to stay in and nail down the save for Doyle in this one. Two and two, the count. Again fouled off. Still 2-2. By doing what he did to Jack Clark in the 8th inning, he's given the Cardinal hitters something else to think about. Jim Acker, who mostly throws sinkers and sliders, threw a 1-2 curve for called strike 3 to Jack Clark. Even though he doesn't throw that pitch very often, the Cardinal hitters have to be at least thinking a little bit about it. There it was again, a little soft liner to short, and Andres Thomas grabs it. So Acker again goes to the curveball, this time on a 2-2 pitch. And he gets Willie McGee for out number 1 in the bottom half of the 9th. Now Rod Booker will bat for the first time. Hitting .409. He's been up just 22 times, has 9 hits. No homers, 6 RBIs. Left-hand batter who spent a long time in the minor leagues. Booker takes a strike in the outside corner. Booker played minor league baseball for 7 years before getting his first major league chance. The 0-1, missing, 1 ball, 1 strike. He was originally in the Minnesota Twins organization. 1 out, 9th inning, 5-4 Braves. Here's the 1-1. 2-1. Little tap toward short. Andres Thomas up and throwing, and there's out number 2 in the bottom half of the 9th. So now the Cardinals down to their last hope. Right fielder Curt Ford, who has a single in 3 at-bats. Ozzie Virgil will visit the mound one more time. Making sure that he and Acker are thinking the same way on how they want to pitch to Curt Ford. Al Monchak directs the defense. Braves are guarding the lines in this situation. Oberkfell just a couple of steps off third. Likewise, Gerald Perry very close to the bag at first. They'll give up the base hit through the hole, but they want to knock down anything hit down the line. And the pitch to Curt Ford, high and away. Braves trying to make it 2 straight over the Cardinals, and 3 out of 5 on the road trip. 2 outs, 9th inning. Acker with a 1-0. Outside, 2-0. If Ford reaches, Tony Pena would be next. Acker with a 2-0 pitch. Popped him up. This should end the ball game. It's in foul territory. Oberkfell, Andres Thomas, both are over, and Ken Oberkfell squeezes it to end the ball game. So Jim Acker comes in and saves it for Doyle Alexander, and the Braves have won 2 in a row over the St. Louis Cardinals. 5-4 Atlanta is your final. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. Well, the Braves are back to a game over 500 after a 5-4 victory over St. Louis. 5 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, 5 left for Atlanta. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 3 men left for the Cardinals. Doyle Alexander in his first game back in a Braves uniform picks up the win. He's 1-0. Jim Acker with his 5th save of the season. The loss goes to Bill Dawley. His record goes to 0-4. The Cardinals had tied the game up 4-4 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And then in the 6th inning, Ken Griffey came to the plate, leading it off against Bill Dawley, who had retired 9 straight Brave hitters. But Griffey took a low fastball and drove it into the right center field seats to give the Braves the 5-4 lead, and that's the way the ball game ended as Jim Acker came on out of the bullpen to work 3 scoreless innings in relief of Doyle Alexander. Well, the Braves and Cardinals have a day off tomorrow. We'll be back at it on Thursday afternoon, 1:30 Eastern time for the final game in this series. Rick Mailer goes for Atlanta against Tim Conroy, the Cardinal left-hander. Then the Braves will come back home. So we'll see you Thursday, 1:30 Eastern time. Until then, for John Sterling, Ernie Johnson, Skip Carey, and our entire TBS crew, Pete Van Wieren speaking to you from Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, where the final was the Braves 5 and the Cardinals 4. Good night, everyone.